A few minutes to start. What am I even talking about? Few seconds to actually start. All right. So thank you everyone for joining this webinar, or I can call this one actually a workshop. It's not a webinar. Webinar is more informational, but this one is going to be more practical, right? And it's going to be more interactive at the same time. So, and it's going to also be for 5 days. That's very, very important. And our goal at the end of this workshop, 5 days workshop, is to majorly walk out of here with practical steps and guidelines, excuse me, that we need to follow. Can I get a feedback? Let me know if you can hear me good. I know I'm using headphone, but I want to be sure that everyone can hear me very well. I just need somebody to talk.
Yes, we can hear you good.
Fantastic. So I can hear you as well. So that I've had a webinar before. Was it the last one or one of those ones that I was talking for a few minutes and nobody was hearing me, and somebody was sending a chat. And I really don't pay attention to the chat when I'm doing presentation, but something just directed my thoughts to check the chat. Then I realized that people have not been hearing me. So that's why I just wanted to hear that. Thank you so very much for confirming that. So today is, like I said, is going to be more of practical than um, teaching or informational. Where there's going to be the informational section, and we're also going to do more of practical. Now, our goal in these next 5 days is actually to be job ready. Okay. And beyond what you have learned, today I am not teaching you what is CIA triad. I'm not talking about network protocols or NIST FedRAMP. No, that's not what I'm doing today. Today, we're going to be working through 5 major things. And every day of this workshop, we are going to be walking away with practical information and also a completed deliverables. Okay. So we're going to be building exact tools that will help people get interviews, that will help you stand out, and that will help you position yourself professionally. That's what we're going to be achieving in these 5 days. So if you have ever felt stuck, or if you have ever been confused or overwhelmed or frustrated, with job search, I can hear you. I understand your frustration. So this challenge, this 5 days challenge, is actually going to help you achieve your end goal. That is what it is. I do this personally during mentorship. Then I realized that the student base, they are increasing, and ability to meet everyone's need was becoming compounding. So I felt that let me just put everything together and bring everybody together and teach you these 5 days challenge in this workshop. So by the end of these 5 days, you're going to walk away with number one, a professional ATS optimized resume. And that will be the first thing that we're going to deal with today. We're going to first talk about the resume today. So at the end of today, you will have a resume that is ready to hit the job market. That's what we want to achieve. Then we're going to proceed to what I call a recruiter ready LinkedIn profile. So, beyond your resume, we're going to talk about your own LinkedIn profile. You're going to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Day two. Day three, we're going to also build a cybersecurity portfolio. Now, if you have actually heard me spoken in time past or probably gone through some bootcamp in the past, you will see that the previous job, or let me say boot camp, is actually broken because people thought that let me go for a boot camp, put my resume together, and let me start applying for job. That's a perfect thing, but it is not really converting these days. So you need a portfolio that is a proof of your experience, because your recruiter is not going to hire you because you have certification or because Mr. K taught you cybersecurity. You want to show them what you have done and prove to them that you've done it before. So that is why we're going to also talk about how you will build a portfolio, and which means on the day that we're going to be talking about portfolio, you will actually build a portfolio. And then you're going to talk about the interview preparation strategies. Now, when you apply for the job, now that you gotten the job, or before you get the job, you need to go for interview. How do you ace the interview? What are the things that you need to consider when you're going for the interview? So we're also going to talk about the certification roadmap. I get that question a lot because people say, okay, what certification am I going to be getting after your training? You are getting none, right? But I'm going to show you certification that you need to start thinking about, if not preparing about as well. Okay, but if you have listened to me over the past few times, right, I really don't emphasize certification. It's not because it's not important, but because it is it is not much important as you proving that you have the experience and you can demonstrate the experience that you have actually gathered. So this is going to be majorly practical. Each day will be practical and it's going to be hands-on, and I believe it's going to be transformational. So my goal, my sincere goal for everyone, okay, and I will say this with my full chest, right, is that within the next 2 weeks, maximum 30 days, if you have not gotten your call, I mean, the job offer, you should be getting regular interview. And I believe it is doable. If you believe me, just say,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
All right, so let's get that. It's only you that you're talking out of about 18 people that we have in the classroom. So before we
Uh-huh,
jump,
uh-huh.
thank you, thank you. So before we jump into the actual training, let me show you the exact roadmap for the next 5 days, right? I've already shown you those 5 things that we're going to be talking about. Now we're going to talk about the resume, right? I will give you the resume foundation. We build the resume at the end of the day. We strengthen your professional visibility through LinkedIn. Many of us, we have great experience. We can actually articulate what we have been taught, right? But we are invisible. And we thrive, job opportunity thrives in visibility. So we're going to deal with that invisibility issue. We're going to also talk about how to build your portfolio, how to be develop the confidence to get the job, and also how to get the certification that you need. Okay, now let's talk about who this challenge was specifically created for, right? If you are here today, you fall into any of these four categories. Okay, just take a minute and think about it. If one of these is applicable to you, I want you to just type one in the comment section. If two of them is applicable to you, type two. If three of them is applicable to you, type three. If all four of them is applicable to you, just type four, right? Okay. Maybe you're a career switcher. Okay. You are switching from one role to another. Okay. Or you're an IT professional that you're trying to pivot into cybersecurity. Or probably you're a recent graduate. Congratulations, right? Or you are a job seeker. You're seeking for career opportunities. You probably roll out different resume applications. You got few callback, and some of them you were ghosted, right? This webinar is for you. So the goal is not perfection. The goal is positioning yourself strategically. And that is what we are going to achieve. Keep those numbers coming. Thank you for doing that. All right. Let me also answer this quick question, right? It just came to my mind. It's not part of this presentation, but I just thought to address this. Now, you have heard about that, either from me or from everywhere, that there are shortage in cybersecurity. And then the question is, if we have shortages in cybersecurity, then why am I not getting the job? Where are the job gone? One of my students asked me that question. You said cybersecurity job is available. It appears that it is now saturated. Now, to answer this question, both questions are valid. Cybersecurity has a lot of shortages. There are no experienced cybersecurity to fill up some roles. As a matter of fact, the last time I checked, over 900,000, that is almost 1 million cybersecurity roles have not been filled in United States alone. And when you think about that, all over the world, over 3.5 million cybersecurity roles have not been filled. Now, if that theory is true, then why am I not getting the job? Right. Now, the question now is that there are different levels, okay, of career, what I would call different level of career levels. Let me put it that way. We have the entry level, we have the mid, and we have the senior level. Okay. So many people, after completing the boot camp and all the training, we all rush towards entry level roles. Okay. And which is valid, right? It's accurate because you feel like that is what is applicable to you. And this entry level space is oversaturated because a lot of people, that's what they are gunning for. Now, many of you do not know, right? That whatever you are doing right now, I've said it before and I'm saying it again. Whether you're a correctional officer, whether you're a nurse, whether you are Uber driver, truck driver, think about anything. No job offer you no experience. So every job comes with some level of experience. What if I told you that whatever you are doing right now, that experience is transferable into cybersecurity? And that is valid truth. You probably heard me said in one of the webinar, one guy scheduled a discovery call with me, random guy. No, I think he saw my advert on Instagram and just went to my bio and booked a direct call with me. He was just got laid off from work. This guy was a DevOps engineer. Okay, he got trained and he built the system for his organization, right? After getting laid off, he was now wondering, I think I need to pivot into GRC. So when he heard me talk about GRC, he reached out to me and then I walked him through some of his experiences that are transferable. Okay. And by the time we were done, he was convinced that he had transferable skills. Here is another guy too. No, all these gym instructor, the physical trainer, I think they have it has a name they call them, right? So he said he's trying to transition into cybersecurity and he doesn't really know what cybersecurity is all about. And then he scheduled a call with me and we were talking. Our 30-minute meeting, was very productive for him because by the time we were done, I was able to reveal to him that you are a personal trainer, right? And you have different clients that come to you. And some of them, they have health issue. Maybe some suffering from arthritis. Some of them, the issue is that they want to lose their belly fat. So some of them, they are trying to deal with cholesterol issue. And they came to gym requesting for your service as a personal trainer. Now, looking at that, you do not treat every client the same way. You don't use the same method or the same uh, standard operating procedure, if there's anything like that, for each of them, right? You have to craft out different instruction, different routine for each of them, right? Now you have access to some of their medical record, right? By privilege and by the reason of your job. And you are supposed to protect that information. And don't you know that what you're doing is actually cybersecurity? Because cybersecurity is all about protecting assets. In your own case, your assets are your clients and their information. So you don't want that information to get into the wrong hands. So if you have spent 5 years doing whatever you are doing right now, when you are coming into cybersecurity, you are not starting from entry level. You are not starting from entry level. And with the level of the curriculum, the curated curriculum that My Proven Academy put together has already given you an edge above the entry level. What that means is that if you go through our training, you are not you are overqualified, right, for entry level position. So you shouldn't be competing for the oversaturated level in cybersecurity level or career strata, as we put it. So what am I actually talking about is you have what it takes to apply for a job. Do not disqualify yourself. Okay? Do not disqualify yourself. The job market is meant for you, and all we need to do is that we want to first identify your transferable skills and we leverage your transferable skills into cybersecurity and then build you a resume And when you understand what cybersecurity does, it makes the work easier for you. That's exactly what we are going to do, right? So, if you are probably you are not aware, we have built a community, right? And this community is accessible to everyone. And in this community, you have access to our self-paced learning program training, so that you have access to 24/7, and you can also interact with the community members within the community. And in this community, you have opportunity to schedule a direct call with me anytime, right? If you are part of that community, we can host also private session within the community, right? We really don't need to schedule a Zoom call, but this one is kind of open to everyone. So in this community is very private, and the good thing about this community is that it pays for itself. I'm going to drop the link in the chat and I will have you kind of review that. So in this community, right, for everyone that you invite, you get 10%. As at the time we are talking right now, you get 10% from everyone that you introduce into the community. Joining the community, we have two options. We have the monthly subscription, we have the yearly, just one time payment, right? If you go for the yearly, you pay, you the price of 10 months for 12 months. I'm going to drop the link in the chat room, and you can just go through that by yourself, and then we see how that goes. Let me copy that link and then send it into the chat room. So if you are not part of the community, I'm inviting you also to join this community, and let's make cybersecurity great again. Hallelujah. So don't quote me, please. I'm just trying to make it a little bit lively for us. So in this community, like I said, what we are doing is a group, but I can schedule a one-on-one with you for resume review, LinkedIn optimization, career mentorship, job opportunities, job, hands-on projects. Many people fail not because they lack intelligence, but they fail because they lack structure and support. And in this community, we provide support for everyone that needs that, and you can access all the necessary information that you need to build cybersecurity career. All right. So now let's officially now begin our first day, because your resume is the very first thing. Anybody that wants to talk to you, before any recruiter can talk to you, before they can even invite you for an interview, the first thing that want to endear them to you is that they have seen the soft version of you. And like the saying is, you don't have the second chance to give the first impression. So your career impression really matters. I have had the privilege of reviewing, I can't even count, so many resumes, right? And interacted with a lot of people. I have seen so many, you know, professional people. They are very vast, they are very knowledgeable, but guess what? They are not getting job opportunity. And I've seen people that just recently graduated from the cybersecurity mentoring training by my proven academy, and they are getting jobs. Now, what as one of those things that is responsible for those big opportunities for those that we'll call less experienced people by human definition is because they have the very good impression, and that is the resume. So today, I'm not going to mix it with any other thing because we are going to be opening it layer by layer. We're going to be talking about your resume only today, and we're going to practically build your resume today. So you won't need to ask me, come and review my resume for me, right? And it might take a few hours for me to do that. But when we do it together, you know how to do the first one, and you also know how to do it subsequently. Okay? So your resume is not just a pretty document, it's not something that will come with fancy color. So we're going to build a resume today. I mean, today, in the next 1 hour, right? We're going to build a resume that will pass ATS system. Okay? We're going to build a resume that will communicate value quickly because most of these recruiters, they really don't have time. They don't have 5 minutes, unfortunately, to review your resume, right? They send it through ATS system. Once they open it, if it doesn't communicate value, right, they just drop it, irrespective of the experience that you may have. We're also going to build a resume that will align with cybersecurity roles. And we're going to specify the roles right off the back. And you know the way we roll here. We're going to focus more on GRC. We're going to focus more on vulnerability management. We can add a little bit of container security. If you're not very comfortable with container security, it's fine. But it's one of the roadmap that we're going to capture in our community. But your resume will be focused on GRC and the tools like Nessus for the vulnerability management. We're going to specify things that align with that, and we're going to build it very fast. Okay, so it's your marketing document, and we need to do it right. So before we talk about what works, let's first understand why some of this resume fails. Probably you are doing everything right. You have very good resume to your own definition, but it's not getting you the result that you need. Let's see. It might be because you are doing one thing wrong. Okay? Let's see why some of this resume fails. So most people assume they are being rejected because they don't have experience, cybersecurity experience. But often the problem is the presentation and the way they position themselves. There are three biggest resume killers out there. And the first one is that people, they just create a generic resume that is not focused on anything. You probably have maybe 10, 5, 2, 3, 6, 7 different kind of experience, right? Imagine somebody that wants to apply for the role of, let's say, a mechanic, but you have a panel experience, you have the whatever name is organizing experience, and you put all of those things together in one resume. Now it's all scattered, it doesn't focus on anything, right? Some resume, they are generic, some, and this is very, very important, and I have seen this, most people that have reviewed their resume, the second one is the most important thing that is killing the job opportunity, and that is they do not have measurable impact. Okay? They do not have measurable impact. There's no specific thing that their resume says that they have achieved in 5, 10 years that they said they are doing whatever they have done. They are doing whatever they are doing, right? So that's the second thing. No measurable impact. The second one is, the third one is that some resume is not even 8 years compatible. It fails 8 years right off the back. Okay? But one thing I want you to know, like I said, is that all these recruiters, they do not have patience. 6 seconds, that's all they have to review so many resumes, right? So, but once they pull up your resume, they're not looking for how well you design the resume, but they are looking for what value your resume presents to them. Okay? If your resume doesn't communicate value, immediately you will lose that opportunity. So let's cure all of this problem today. We're going to fix that problem today. Okay? Maybe if you can recall, can you tell me, if you want to be vulnerable, how many applications have you submitted, let me say, in the last 1 month, 7 days? If you want to be more specific, how many have you submitted? Some said 3. Okay. Is that within 1 week or the last 1 month? In 2 weeks, 3. You can do better. In fact, 3 is even too little for one day. But we're going to cure that today. Okay. So while we keep those information coming, now that we understand all these mistakes that we make, right? Let me show you exactly how you structure a high converting cybersecurity resume. Okay. You see, I have identified 5 different major structure. There are different sections in a resume, and each section, they are there for a purpose. Your summary section will introduce your value. Okay. Your skills section aligns you with the ATS keywords. That skill section is important. It aligns you with the ATS keywords. Now, your experience section, that is the most important thing. It demonstrates your capability and your achievement. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is describing your responsibility instead of achievement, right? You see what that means? You describe what you have done, but you don't describe your achievement as a result of what you have done. What has become the company's benefits doing what you did? Okay? And the employer, they don't want to pay you for having CISSP and CISA, right? They're not paying for those things, right? They're not paying for all of those things. They want to pay you for outcomes. And if your resume is not showing any outcomes, you are not going to get anywhere. And once you have the right structure, the next section is that you want to make your resume pass the ATS system. Okay? And today, I'm going to declare that we're in the age of AI. I'm going to show you how you're going to develop your resume with AI. I'm going to introduce you to maybe 2 of those, right? All of you know ChatGPT, right? It should be um, a common name right now in our community. And of course, there is another one that I recently discovered and I've done my own thorough research on, and that is Claude. So if you do not have any of those, I'm going to show you today. You are going to download Claude, you are going to download ChatGPT. If you're on your computer, start doing that right now. And we want to do that together. We're going to build the resume together today. All right. So let's proceed. Now, look at this. ATS system, I believe ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. I've been saying this for the past few minutes. I forgot to define that for those that terminology might be a bit distant to. So, Applicant Tracking System. And the way it works is that, let's say the recruiter posts like a job, and over 5,000 people applied to that job, and they only need one person. So what they will do is that they are going to program the ATS system in such a way that they are looking for some keywords based on the job descriptions that they have, already posted. Maybe they are looking for someone that have experience in GRC, that knows about NIST, that has experience with Nexus scanning, all those, they have those keywords. So they program the ATS to filter all this resume based on these keywords. So if there is any resume that doesn't have any of those keywords, or maybe they even say select any resume that have maybe 3 of these 10 keywords. If your resume doesn't pass the ATS system, and what that means that it doesn't have the right amount of the keyword that is required for that resume to be selected, is going to fail. So when we say that your resume needs to pass ATS system, we are simply saying that it needs to have the right keywords to be selected or to be considered for interview by the ATS system. I believe you understand how ATS system works now. So if your resume does not contain the right keywords, the recruiter may never even see it. They won't even see it, let alone they are going to even call you for an interview. So you find out that you submitted so many application and resume, and you're not getting a call back. It could be that you fail some keywords, but we're going to fix that again today. And again, that is why when you're putting your resume together, there shouldn't be a generalized resume. You may honestly have a resume that is generalized, that you can tweak with time. But for every application, make a note of this. For every application that you're going to be submitting, you really need to make sure that you customize that resume to fit each job description. So what that means is that you need to, before you apply to that job, consider the job description. Okay? So that is why the job description really matter. So you must learn the exact keyword. You must mirror the industry language that is used in that job description. And you also need to align your documented experience in that resume, strategically fit or align with that job description. So let me show you how you can actually scan a resume. There is a website. I'm going to post it in the chat room. It's called jobscan.co. Jobscan.co. If you can go to that place, but let's do that together. Okay, I'm going to pick a, okay, jobscan.co. All right. So this is how this one works. If you have a job description that you want to apply to, for example, and you have a resume that you currently have, you want to first measure, okay, what will be the rank of your resume? What's the chance of your resume, giving you qualifying to apply for that role? That's what this is all about. So let's say you go to scan your resume. If you have your resume in Word format, you can actually add it to this. Let me pull up a resume. Okay. I want to make sure that I have, okay, let me pick one of those resumes that I had before. Okay, let me put this. So I just uploaded a resume. Okay, and here it says that I should copy the job description. So let me go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my favorite job search uh, website that I highly recommend. So this is my own, but I go to job section. Let me look for a job that is GRC. Okay. I'll just pick any job randomly. Okay. I will copy the job description. I just love to copy everything about the job. So you copy the job description. This one is a long job description, but let's see. Okay, let's copy that. Now that we copied the job, remember we've uploaded the resume, your resume, that you want to use to apply for that job. Now you copy that job description that you want to apply to and say you scan. It's going to take less than 1 second, less than 30 seconds. Let me put it that way. It's going to give us the result. Okay. Now, let's see what the result will show us. It's going to rate your resume. Now, the resume that I uploaded, it doesn't even fit. Okay. So, which means it has so many things that needs to be fixed on that resume. And you see that it is going to provide you with some suggestions based on your resume and the job description. Okay. So you see what that is? Now imagine that I want to apply for that job using that same resume. What is the chance of me being called for interview? Can somebody tell me? Do I stand the chance of being interviewed?
No.
At all. So you can see that many of us were doing it wrong. We are not even sure if our resume is qualified for the job that we're applying to. And we feel like, oh, I've done everything right. I've applied. I've killed the urge to search for job. They said, Mr. K said I should submit 20 applications every day. I've submitted 30, yet I'm not getting called back. You are using the same resume for different jobs. You understand? So you have to be able to follow whatever description that one is telling you and things like that. But with AI, we can actually fix your resume to align with some job description. But this is just to show you how you can quickly scan if your resume will stand a chance to qualify you for any job that you may want to apply to. Okay? So that's the first demonstration that we're going to do. Let's go back to class. Now that we have that one, so now let me show you how you can use AI. Like I said, AI such as ChatGPT and Claude, okay, to optimize your resume. Okay, so remember that in your job description, especially for the roles that My Proven Academy is preparing you for, which is the roles like a GRC, these are some of the keywords that you need to have on your resume. And also, these are some of the keywords that you can use whenever you are searching for jobs on LinkedIn. Okay, it's very essential. So, give me one second. Hey, Google, stop. Right. So, you can see that how do you extract keywords, right? You copy the full job description, right? You paste it into ChatGPT or you paste it into Claude, okay? And you're going to ask, okay, extract the top 15 keywords from this job description, or you can upload your resume to ChatGPT and say, can you measure the gap between my resume and this job description? Do you want us to do that together or we should pass? I'm kidding. We're going to do it together. If you are, I don't want you to be tired, okay? So let's try that, okay? Let's go to ChatGPT. I'm going to show you how to do that. Oh, where's ChatGPT? Okay, so we have ChatGPT here. Okay, so I have the job description. Let me upload my resume first. I'm going to upload the same resume. The resume I uploaded is a generic resume, not mine. It's just one of those sample resume that I usually use for demonstration purpose. So I'm not surprised that it did not measure up to what we want. So, okay, I will just use a generic words. Okay, I can you okay, no particular thing verbiage. I just want to come up with a particular thought. Can you scan my resume and align maybe 15 keywords with the job description attached? Something like that. Just nothing really major. Although I have a full prompt that we're going to also test. Okay. So let's say I wanted to just scan my resume and scan the job description and tell me. So it says the recommended keywords that aligns are this one. Okay. What if I say build me a new resume? Okay. Why is it thinking? Okay, sorry, but I think so. I'll now say build a new resume. Okay, incorporate the suggested keyword. I believe I can spell though. Suggested keywords. Yeah, export into words. Word document. It doesn't matter. Okay, now based on the job description and my current resume, I'm asking ChatGPT to build me a resume that align with that. Now, tell me if the output of these results is sufficient to apply for that role, and tell me why it is and why it is not. Based on what I've told you, did I do everything right to have a good resume based on this prompt that I gave? Anybody? Any taker? Okay, so let's see. Now I have the Word document of that resume. Okay, so he built it for me. My name is John Smith. Okay. Uh, okay, so now this is the resume that he built for me. John Smith, I know it's a bit tiny. I can't even see that. So now, based on this job description, I now have a resume that will pass ATS. Let's do one thing. I did not practice this before now, but let's now go back to Jobscan, okay, and say maybe we want to upload the resume again. Let's now upload the resume, okay. Let me upload that resume, the new one that we have downloaded. Okay, so I have that one downloaded, and then the job description, I believe I still have it in my clipboard. Yes. Okay, so I now say scan. Let's see. Let's see if now the resume that ChatGPT built for me is now sufficient. Does it say that it's not sufficient? Okay. So why is that? It's going to give you suggestion. However, if you want to proceed and say you want this system to fix that thing for you, you have to kind of upgrade, but we are not doing all of those, right? Now, I did not specify, right, in that prompt that this thing should make it ATS friendly. I did specify that it should use a star method. I did not specify that it needs to also use a quantitative analysis in my job description. Okay, so because of that, without wasting much of our time, we're going to go to Claude. Okay, so I have a master prompt that I will be sharing with everyone. Okay, I will. This is that master prompt. Is a very long prompt. I won't be able to read that to all of us, but I'm going to copy that. Let's go to Claude. Claude is Claude. Okay, Claude.ai. All right. So let's go there. If you are still struggling to get to Claude, I can send a link on the chat room as well so that you'll be able to interact with that. But I need you to also download Claude, okay? So ChatGPT is good. I can actually use ChatGPT to get a finalized version, but I want to demonstrate Claude with you. So this is not my current version, is kind of one of those free versions. Let's give it a try. So here is the prompt that I have. Let me share that prompt with you. The prompt says, let me see if I have it somewhere. Control, continue. Okay. So now you see a prompt. This is that prompt. Okay. It says that you are an elite, that is, you are telling the AI that you are an elite cybersecurity resume strategist, ATS optimization specialist, and hiring manager advisor with deep experience in GRC, vulnerability management, container security, cloud security, all this good stuff. Your mission is to transform the candidate's background into a highly competitive, ATS friendly, and all this good stuff. You won't imagine. That's a long distance. It's a very comprehensive uh, prompt. Okay, I deliberately made it that way so that it gives us a very robust outcome. So now I will now come to Claude. I'll say, Claude, I will paste that same prompt there. So I'm simply telling Claude that he is what that prompt has described it to be. So I will share the prompt document for sure. All right, let's see. Let's see what what Claude would do for us, right? At the end of this whole thing. Now it's asking me to provide my name and all this information so that it's going to build me a a finalized, a ready to use kind of resume, right? Provide your full name, your phone number, email, da 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 da. I will now say this is for demonstration fabricate the information. Let's see if it's going to allow me. Claude sometime asks Agidi, right? Okay, so it's saying that you can generate this thing. Let's see. Does it allow me to? Okay, you want me to sign in. Let me use my own personal Claude. Which one does it? Let me see. Let me see if I can. Mm-mm-mm. No what? Let me use my regular browser. That's not the regular browser that I use. Before this class, I've actually demonstrated that. So, but I'm going to re-demonstrate that, okay? So, these have let me go to another one. Okay, I'm going to paste that. My own version is a paid version, so that's why it doesn't, it's still going to give us a more concise information. Okay, so let's see what it's going to do for us. I didn't want to show you the result that I generated before, right? I just want to show you how to actually build that using what we currently have. Okay, he's still thinking, right? So while he's thinking about what he's thinking about, right, let me put together that point. And please, I believe everyone signing with their um, email address. So at the end of this class, I will send, give me 20, less than 24 hours, 12 hours, right? I'm going to share with you the full prompts and also all those information, the job scan and the ChatGPT link and Claude link in that document so that you can actually practice with it, right? You can also kind of, craft your own resume as well. But I need you to build a resume. Yeah, sometimes it might ask you to subscribe. That's very correct, right? We can use ChatGPT, right? We can use ChatGPT as well. Yeah, we can use ChatGPT to do that. ChatGPT can demonstrate that. Maybe let's try ChatGPT on this one. Okay. Let me see. Craft a resume for demonstration purpose with fabricated information, personal information. Okay, using this prompt. Um, yeah, using this prompt. Let's see what it. Let's see. Let's see if ChatGPT will come up with something different. Okay, Michael Anderson. Oh wow, that's good. So this is what this thing. I can also say that exports to Word document. Okay, ChatGPT is doing its own. Claude is also doing its own. Oh, now this guy has taken us to a different level. Egbami, I didn't prepare for this one. Oh, okay. So let's download. I don't want to go too far because this one is now. One thing about Claude is that it's very. I love Claude because it's very interactive. I don't want this kind of level. This level HTML. No. Convert to Word, Jare. Convert to Word document. Don't stress me. I will now start putting name and putting this. No. Okay. That's what I asked you to do before. Let's see what this is the Word document that ChatGPT has provided for us. Okay. It's opening on another screen. Now, look at this. This is what this is the resume that ChatGPT provided for us, right? And it has all the information, I believe. But let's go through the personal experience because that is more important to me. Okay. It said conducted operational risk review. Okay, for example, it says the role of this person is a operation compliance analyst with Horizon Medical Services in Houston, Texas, from January 2022 till present. Okay, and say conducted operational risk review and compliance validation activities supporting internal governance processes across multi-state healthcare operation. Okay, let me jump to this one. Just spot reading. It says monitor operational workflow and escalated identified compliance concerns through established risk management procedures, reducing issue issue resolution timelines by 30%. You see, this is what I mean by quantitative, analysis of your professional experience, telling you the percentage, the outcome of those efforts. That is, whatever you did has resulted in reducing the resolution timeline by 30%. That kind of verbiage and that level is what the hiring manager actually want to relate with. Okay, that's what they want to. They see that you've actually done it and you have seen results, so they won't push your resume aside. Okay, so let's wait for what this brother is doing for us, brother Claude. Okay, let's download that. Okay, see, this is what it came out for us, right? I think I like this format. You see, the the format that Claude gave us is in very attractive, right? So you just put your name and you review the details in that, right? And make sure that it aligns with you. You can correct whatever it is, okay, and remove anything that makes sure that. So you are responsible for reviewing your resume. So let me show you two things that I did before this class, okay, just to prove to you, right, what we are doing. Okay, I'm going to go to the download folder and show you the two resumes that Claude generated for me. The first one is for Marcus T. Williams. Okay, the same prompts that I used, that I tested, I mean, that we used in class, is the same prompt that I used to generate this one. And he came up with this name as well, right? I did not tell him the name, right? Okay, I think I like this template very well. Okay, and then when you look at the job description, I mean, the professional experience, let me increase that so that we can see it better. So it says healthcare operation coordinator, right? With Meridian Healthcare Health Network from June 21 to present in Dallas, Texas. It says maintained and govern operational documentation library across 5 clinical departments, ensuring 98% documentation accuracy and audit readiness, directly translating to compliance documentation and evidence management skills applicable to NIST Special Publication 853 control families. Now, you will also notice that this particular individual is actually in healthcare, maybe a nurse, maybe um, all those healthcare related work, right? He did not throw away his experience, right? But he kind of leverage what he is currently doing, right, with what is applicable in cybersecurity. So he or she, I think it's an E now, Matthew, right? Marcus. So he believed that whatever he's doing by doing whatever thing documentation wise is consistent with this special publication 853. That's why I am telling you that whatever you're doing, you can leverage whatever you're doing right now in cybersecurity. So it's not a waste. Your experience, and you can actually account for if you've been doing maybe nursing for 5 years or whatever thing. I don't know why I keep emphasizing nursing, right? Okay. Whatever you're doing, for the period of time that you have been doing it, you can claim that same number of years as your cybersecurity experience. So that is why I said initially, you are not just starting cybersecurity, right? You already have the experience, but you are going to claim that since 2021 that I've been working as healthcare operations coordinator, I have been doing cybersecurity. You understand that? So don't throw away your experience. Even if you are a bank clerk or grocery store clerk or whatever it is, you can leverage that. You can ask ChatGPT, what are the transferable skills for this my role? Describe whatever your role is into cybersecurity. It's going to give you the transferable skills and tell ChatGPT to build you a resume Okay. Based on that, you can use that code as well, and then you can build your own this thing. Now, I think much has been emphasized with regards to that, how you can build your resume, okay, and how you can leverage your experience. And now you know what a good resume should look like, right? You know what you're looking for when you say you want to build a resume. You know what you want to achieve with resume that you are building, right? So you are not just putting something together. And also, you also want to go a little bit further and say, okay, I want to apply to this job. Can you tell me if there is any experience gap, right, that I need to cover, right, in my resume before I apply to this role? And based on that suggestion, update your resume, okay, with those gaps in the job description that you're trying to fill in, and then submit your resume. So you see that the most important job for you, right, is applying for job. Okay, because for every application that you are submitting, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So that's why when we talk about the searching for job, right, I will cover that a little more, right? When you want to search for job, make sure you search for job using the keywords that you know you are familiar with, like GRC, security compliance, NIST, ISSO, security control assessor. Those are the keywords that I want you to be using to search for job, so that you're guaranteed that any job that come in your pool, they are going to be job that you have the skill set to apply to. So when you are applying to that job, you know you are applying to the right job. And that is different from somebody that just say, you just go on LinkedIn or any of this job and just say cybersecurity analyst. It's going to give you a lot of cybersecurity analysts and different roles, right? Give you SOC analyst, Splunk analyst, even DevOps too. So, and if you keep wasting your energy applying for roles that you already know you don't have the skill set to fill, you are wasting time. So please save time, okay? Save time. I know I've not told you, okay, to apply for job yet based on this 5 days challenge, but I need you to work on your resume, okay? So if you have not joined the WhatsApp community, right? Make sure you join the WhatsApp community. And this is what I want us to do on that WhatsApp community. I will say, drop your resume, remove your name. Should I even say that, right? Because some people can even lift somebody else's resume and things like that. Okay, you know what? Send your resume directly to me. Okay, but make sure you join that community. I mean, that WhatsApp community, right? Send your resume that you have built to me directly. I'm not going to, of course, how many of those resumes do I have? So I just want to take a look at it, right? So just make sure you do that, and then we're going to have a very wonderful time together. Do you have any question? I know I've talked too much today, but let me be sure that you don't have any question. Any question, please?
Yes.
Go for it, ma'am.
Okay. So I was just trying to find out, like, will you advise that we at least get a pass from the job scan before using that resume to apply? Let's say you start building your resume and try to tailor your resume to a particular role, and you put it back in job scan, you still get maybe like a 50% or 60%. will you advise us to go ahead and keep modifying it to get at least an 80% before applying for a job?
I would recommend that. I
Okay.
would recommend that. Okay. I would recommend that you make sure that your resume is not going to go to waste. If you can get 70, 80%, right? And of course, it's going to tell you things that you need to actually fix in your resume, right? Fix it and then let's take it up from there, right? Okay.
What of the
Let's
optimize? Do you think is good? Should we
you
do a
say
lot
what?
of the optimize the area where they talked about optimize and the job scan where they said you can optimize? Do you think we should go ahead and do that?
Yeah, if you notice, if you try to optimize, it's going to ask you to pay. If you want to pay, that's okay by you, right? Okay, because there are so many AI tools that will do exactly that for you. Even ChatGPT can do that for you as well. You understand?
Okay, yes.
Yes. Somebody asked a question that is very important. He said, please clarify. Do we need to tailor our resume to all jobs intended to apply for? That's very correct. Okay. So you notice that by the time you tweak your resume, okay, for one job, save that resume with the name of the company that you apply to or the role that you apply to, right? That resume, okay, so that resume will be, you can actually use that same resume. It might fit another job. You understand? But the goal of the matter, the goal of this whole thing is that you want to make sure that every job, that every application that you are submitting, you are intentional about it, and it's something that you are guaranteed that you've done everything right. That is our goal, right? That is the goal. Some of the resume that you might have actually tweaked for other roles, right, might fit other roles. You understand? It's not like it's completely wasted, but the most important thing is that you make sure that those resume, they are relevant for every job that you are doing. So the resume that you are sending to me, okay, is just the first generalized resume that you have. Now, in your generalized resume, some things are constant. Your current place of work, where you're currently working, is constant, and your years of experience is the same. What you are updating will be your professional experience and possibly some skill sets that they specify that you need to have. You understand? So, as you move from one resume to another resume, all of those things will not change. The only thing that will keep changing and updating or optimizing or tweaking, whichever word that will fit that, will be your professional experience session. Okay? So that is very, very important for us to understand. I believe I clarified that for you, man. Okay? So
Yes.
the resume I need you to send to me is just for me to hold you accountable that yes, you are doing what I asked you to do, because uh, I want you to be successful, right? I want you to have result in 1 week. And the best way you can do that is when you do it, not by what I tell you alone, but by doing what I tell you to do. Okay? That's very important. Look at the screen. I know I have few more minutes. These are few AI powered resume builder that you can actually use, right? If you want to take a screenshot, that will be fine as well. Okay. It says number one. Okay. Can you send it to my WhatsApp? Okay. Instead of sending it to email, send it to WhatsApp. Um, you can send the document to WhatsApp, so that will work. So you open the target job description. That is that job description, you open it, you paste it into Claude, right? Or into ChatGPT. Then you can use a prompt like this, right? So he's suggesting about three different prompts. So these three different prompts, right, that he's suggesting is compressed into the long prompt that I'll be sharing with you. But the goal is that, you see, the key point is that it says it says something about ATS keyword from the job description. That is very, very important. Remember the word ATS. Then also, it said rewrite my work experience bullet using these keywords plus star formats. That is those keywords that is identified in the job description. You should rewrite your experience section with those keywords and using a star format. Star format, I believe you remember the situation, the whatever that is, the star. I don't want to think about what that stands for right now, right? But it's a star method, right, that talked about the the structure of interview. Okay. Then the third prompt that I say is that write a professional summary. That is the section, one of the section in the resume for that role. Okay, with 3 years of particular skill experience. But I don't want you to use 3 years. Between 0 and 5 years is an entry level position. Anything from 6 years to 8 years is mid-level position, and anything 9 years and above, that is a senior level position. So what I want you to target, right? You don't have to be afraid, right? You can, if you have been in United States for 5 years or less or more, right? You can qualify. Even from abroad that you're coming from, your experience can still transition, right? Okay, just make sure that you put that into consideration. But like I said, the justification, okay, for you to claim something above entry level position is because you have experience that is transferable into cybersecurity. Okay, the fact that you've not done cybersecurity physically with that role does not mean that you have not been doing that before. So that is very essential for you to know. So once you do that, you paste output into a clean resume template and run through Jobscan, right? Then the live results, check the before and after of the live results. Okay, now another uh, website that you can actually go to is Resume Now. I think that is called Resume Now. Let's try that also. Resume Now also requires subscription, right? But it gives you different templates. Let me be sure that I have the different. Okay, maybe not here. Let me use my second browser. Let me have that. I have so many browsers that I work with for different application. So let's see. Resume Now. Okay. So Resume Now. If you log in into Resume Now, it can give you certain information, right? And now in the Resume Now, you have different templates that you can use. Okay, different template that you have right here. So one thing is that when you have that template, you can actually build you can manually update those sections in the resume now, but that is more laborious. You see what Claude gave us, he called down all of those things. Once you have the Word version of what Claude gave you, just update those sections, tweak it, and make sure that it captures everything that you want. Make sure you are familiar. This is very, very important. Make sure you are familiar with every detail in that resume, because when we talk about interview, right, the interview can go in two ways. They can say, walk me through your resume. So they're interviewing you based on what you have documented on your resume. And may it not be, right, that they ask you a question in your resume that you cannot even answer. I said, did I actually write that? That I must be sleeping when I wrote that. No, don't do that, please. So make sure you're familiar with the content of your resume. That's number one. Then the second way the interview can go is that it can go in the direction of your job description. So you are also very familiar with the job description that you're going in to be interviewed for. Okay, very, very important. So make sure your resume is sweet and is you are familiar with that basically. Okay, so like I said before, if you are not part of the mentoring training, okay, I'm not teaching you anything about GLC, but we have a pre-recorded training for for GLC that you have access to, right? And this training, it keep growing every time, so you can access that training by going to that website that I shared initially. I'm going to share that again. In that, we have a community that we built there, and then just go in and start your membership, right? 199 per month, to have full access to all our detailed training on GRC. Okay, and also you can also pay for 1 year, right, and save a lot. So, and then the good thing is that when you subscribe for this training, among other things, you are going to get a link, a special link, that is a referral link. If you share that link with any of your friends, if that your friends subscribe for that training, you get 10% of every month for life, as long as they keep their membership. Okay, take for example, if you invite two people, each person every month you are getting about $20 that is coming directly to you, right? So imagine if you invite 10 people, right? That's like $200. It pays for itself. You understand? And this is one of the ways by which we encourage everyone, to build a community, because cybersecurity is a journey, it's not a destination. So you need a mentor support as you journey along, right? And that is why we build this community, to support your growth, and also reach out to your friends and your colleagues if you have